Hello everyone. Today we'll be doing the PRs of the Wellspring division of Gyarados Frontier League Season 4. And with myself, I have the Indian gang. First of all, it's me, M2 Carbine. Hello. And then it's AJ.
Hey there.
And then our honorary Indian, King Loki.
Hello, sir. Good to be here.
Great. Then let's
Yeah,
begin
good stuff.
with the PRs, which are written by Conn. So a big shout out to Conn. Thank you for writing the PRs, going through the shitty draft that we all did. And let's get started. First, we have Pog.
Yeah, so let's get started with Fox team, the Hoskins Hoopers. We have Evil Tal, Genesect, Tapu Fini, Como, Nihilego, Mega Manectric, Silvally, Crocodile, Suyin Zoroark, Tangrowth, Galarian Slowbro, and Kyurem. So lots of mixed offense there, right? And that's super mean to prep for. The speed tiers are pretty good, and I suppose Tangrowth, Fini, and Glowbro are pretty annoying to face. Yeah, one pointers are really good. I think he utilized them well. Um, Looking at his team, I don't see spikes. Neither do I see any rapid spin. Like you have got Defog Yveltal and Defog Tapu Fini, and Silvally, I suppose, also gets default. Yeah.
Yeah.
No spike support either. So, I mean, it would be nice to have, I suppose, but doesn't really matter. Oh, the team will rely on defog. And I think it's a bit very weak, not gonna lie. I mean, you've got Evil Chal, Tomo, Crocodile, Kyurem, right? Bit of fairy weakness. I mean, I suppose Glowbro and Genesect cover that well along with Nihilego, but still, it can be a bit tough. Freeze dry is also a bit of a pain, I suppose. Although that is dependent on the ice types, right? Genesect is relatively frail, but it can tank a hit or two, I suppose. I am interested though how he'll utilize Silvally. Obviously, lots of types, yeah. And I suppose fast Scarfers could be annoying, yeah, because what's the fastest poke he's got? He's got like Mega Man net check, yeah. So pretty neat overall. I like it. Solid team. Evil Talent Genesect was my plan as well in Hearth Flame before I got sniped. But yeah, it's pretty good. 6.78 out of 10 was Conn's rating.
That's a pretty good rating, honestly.
Yeah,
I think one of the higher ones in this division.
definitely.
Yeah, we were
And
really bad as a division.
yeah, and looking forward to his performance, I suppose. Moving on.
Moving on. So, the second coach we're going to cover today is Travis and his Moss Deep City Sharpedos. So, the mons he drafted are Marshadow, Mega Blastoise, Golden Go, Larios, Fezandipity the Goat, Donphan, Umbreon, Zapdos, Fortress, and Blissey. So, right off the bat, the speed tiers are pretty decent. You know, you do have the Marshadow, that's of course the fastest. You do have Lottie over 100, then Zapdos on 100. The rest are there, but no real gaps there. Uh, there's bulk to be sure, but more on the passive side. Like Umbreon, Blissey, Fortress. Those are not really the mons that put offensive threats that can do a lot of damage. They're mainly just chip the team. So yeah, some bulk that could maybe fight back would be appreciated. And when you have Umbreon and Blissey, it's like you have the same mon. They're weak to the fighting type. They're weak to the same things. So it's pretty exploitable, but it's still decent bulk nonetheless. So like alongside that, you do have Zapdos, Larios, Golden Go, which can take a hit, and for such a bulky draft, it does lack a good hazard setter. Like Fortress does do it all. It also removes hazards, but it's not really that good of a mon. You do not want Fortress to be your main source of hazards, to be honest. You know. Um, but as for the hazard removing, you do have a lot of great options. You do have a lot of great options, and that's not going to be a problem for this team. Like you have Donphan, you have Fortress, you have Zapdos that can run boots. Um, then moving on, Marshadow definitely the start of this team. It can steal the boosts, especially the boosts that would make Umbreon and Blissey pretty much useless. And the rest of the team, it does appreciate unboosted mons. So Marshadow can really help there. And even passively, you don't even have to steal the boost. The opponent's gonna see Marshadow. They're not just gonna randomly start boosting their stats. You're not gonna see a lot of Dragon Dances, a lot of nasty plots, a lot of Source Dances against this team. You know. Um, all in all, Conn did not really like this team, and he gave it the rating of 384 out of 10. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think
I
it's a
mean,
bit
that's a lot.
harsh.
That's like
I think it's a bit
38
harsh.
times more than
Yeah,
10.
I think that's a bit more than Con intended.
It should be 3.84, right? You're a maths teacher after all. You shouldn't say 384.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways.
What? I
Any,
you confuse me right now. You confuse me, right? 384, 384, 384 means 3.84. You don't know the math language. That's the math language right there. 384. It's not
okay,
384. It's 384.
okay.
3.84.
So, like in our system, we don't really say the decimals like 84, but 84 instead. But moving on. So, should I get to the next one?
Yeah, I think if
Yep,
you guys
pretty
don't have anything
much.
to say about this one,
I mean, yeah, the rating is a bit low, and I can see why. Because like convex hazards a lot, and yeah, I can
we do
totally
have
understand.
to we do have to appreciate Fezandipity. Like that
Yeah,
mon has been one of
it's
the
also my
MVPs in
mascot.
every season he's been in. Yeah, exactly. But we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. So, anyways, moving on to number three, which is Milroy. So, we all know what's coming. It's not a big
Oh my god.
surprise.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not a big surprise. We know what's coming. So, about Milroy's team, um,
It has the strongest range setter, right? The
yeah, the
primal
strongest
Kyogre.
rain setter and no rain setter at once.
Yep, because he takes the rain with him when he goes out.
So, what
Yeah,
Conn had to say about Milroy's team was, "You must know how Kyogre Primal Strain works, right? You must. Please get a real rain setter." Because like Tornadus is an option, and the 2 weeks I saw, Milroy has used Tornadus to set up the rain, which has worked with Swampert Mega, of course, but it's like not a real rain setter. Because even though if you have Prankster, it doesn't really matter. It's not a real rain setter. You're just forced to bring rain dance on Tornadus every week for it to work.
yeah, and I mean, manually setting up rain is basically costs you a ton.
Yeah, exactly. And I think both Pelipper and Politoed are free in this draft, so if you want, you could really make one trade and make your teams like 5 times better. So,
They
bat top
are.
speed, of
That's
course.
surprising.
Swampert Mega is at a good speed tier if it gets rain, which again, this team does not have a reliable rain setter. So, it would be mitigated if you had a reliable rain setter, the speed tier problem, but it does not currently. And then again, freeze dry is super lethal against this team. And Milroy was my opponent week one, and I abused freeze dry. I mean, I at least brought freeze dry. I didn't really abuse it. So the rating Milroy gets would be 2.14 out of 10, which would be a lot higher with a real range setter because then it could do a lot of stuff. So what do you all have to say?
Yeah,
I
I
think the
mean, it's
funniest team.
the team has a bit of a fighting weakness as well. I mean, Ferrothon, Arcanine, Archelodon,
Yeah,
Ting
it
Yeah, that
has
is true.
some
And
and
icy
Gardevoir and
specific
Togekiss are
moves.
not
if
really
you don't bring
the best mons
Rain,
in this draft.
Yeah, true. So
But yeah, it really does have all of the best things about a Rain team, other than Rain. So
exactly.
yeah, like just drop
yeah,
drop
quite literally.
like Shaman and Gardevoir, or drop Togekiss. Togekiss is a great mon, but no mon here
Yeah,
from the lower
I don't
ones.
think Togekiss works here. Definitely should drop it.
You know, there's a lot of good Rain setters, and by a lot I mean like two.
Yeah,
Since like the regular Kyogre is banned, of course. Cyber hits.
I would definitely like to hear the rating that Con gets. So Con, like if you're watching, drop a rating for this team if one of the weaker mons gets replaced by a rain setter.
Right, so let's move on to the fourth team.
yeah. So
I
we
forgot who
have
it is.
Aimless Outcasts team, Duskmane Rising. If I had a nickel for an Eternatus plus Zamazenta normal form team, I'd have two nickels. Which is weird, but it happened. I mean, it's weird that it happened twice. Yeah. So it's a pretty good team. Eternatus, Zamazenta, Deoxys Speed, Diancie Mega, Scizor, Moltres, Diggersby, Koopa Unbound, Gligar, and Alomomola. So it's a pretty solid core, I say. Deoxys Speed is always, I mean, a luxury to have. Hazard screens, even setup options, right? Eternatus is pretty awesome, and the amount of offense this draft can put out is, yeah, I mean, gotta hand it to him. It's pretty good. Hazard options are great. Also with Mega DNC with Magic Bounce helping in that department. Also Default Gligar and Scizor as well. I would like if there was a spinner again. I mean, teams are lacking rapid spinner, but I suppose Mega DNC helps with that. Hoopa gets some good support, yeah. U-turn Gligar, flip turn Alomomola, even Scizor as well. Although I do not quite understand what's the point of having Diggersby in here. Like, you'd have a better option going for something like a, I don't know. I mean, you could utilize those 5 points better, I think. Although, I mean, if he drafted, he probably has a plan for it. Either way, Con rated it 7.41 out of 10. I think that is a pretty strong team.
Yeah, I think it's the highest so far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
is
top
it?
team, the top one.
So yeah,
I
that is
think
pretty nice.
Moltres is a bit going under a bit of the line here. It can be quite good. It depends how he utilizes it, right? Defensive role, even an offensive role.
Right.
Anyway,
Moltres is really versatile, yeah. But the just the core of Eternatus, Zamazenta, Mega Diancie, it's insanely good. It's insanely good looking.
especially when paired with something like Deoxys Speed. I mean,
Yeah.
fastest after Regieleki, of course. Moving on, we have Zmeeb. Zmeeb? Zmeeb? Interesting. Anyway, Austin Amateurs. We have Mega Salamence, Solgaleo, Glimora, Grimmsnarl, Greninja, Garchomp, that's a lot of G's by the way, Chandelier, Serperior, Piloswine, and Quaquaval. So, really nice offensive draft. I have to hand it to him. Also, he asked for my help during the draft process, and I really liked how he planned. Yeah, it feels super cohesive team, right? Really nice offense, I mean, Mega Salamence and Soul Galeo are pretty good options as for your Ubers. Screens are great. I mean, Grimsnarl, obviously one of the best screen setters available. It's a pretty good draft. I mean, under screens, Superior, Garchomp, Weakness Policy, Solgaleo, even Glimora with Power Hub can go wide here. Even Quick Power like Swords Dance, Aqua Step, Moxie. I mean, and obviously the biggest threat here is Mega Salamence with Air Relate.
Right.
So
Yeah, Mega Salamence just hits like a truck.
yeah, especially under screens, it's almost always getting a Dragon Dance, and even if you get burned, there's Hazard. I mean,
And you can even go to the special side if you really want to. 120 base special attack is really good, and I think it learns Boom Burst, right?
no, it gets Hyper Voice. It doesn't get Boom Burst.
Oh, Hyper Voice. Okay. So,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's still really good. You can utilize it both ways if you want.
yeah. Overall, it's a pretty good team, I'll say, and also a lot of momentum here. Even Salamence, I believe, gets U-turn. Mega Salamence, no?
I do believe it does.
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
I
and
mean,
It doesn't.
it
it does
doesn't.
not.
Oh, yeah, I mean, fair enough. I think Solgaleo, funnily enough, also gets teleport, though. I
Yeah.
know that for a fact. And Greninja with U-turn. We have pretty solid core. Even parting shot Grimmsnarl is
So,
fantastic.
most of
Yeah,
his
it is
momentum
really
is like
useful.
Quaquaval doing something or Glimora dying.
Yeah, suppose that also counts. Anyways, I suppose it's your turn now. Moving on to Hapane.
Wait, did you mention the rating? Because this
Yes,
one,
I did. 8.03 out of 10.
yeah, that is the
That is
highest
the
we've had so
topmost.
far. Maybe even the highest in the whole draft. Who knows? We're gonna find out soon.
Yeah,
Moving
we
on.
are.
Okay, so we have our boy Habane, and so about him, Weavile is not a ghost switch. You should probably get one. Your team is very rock weak, aside from Zama, but Zama is there, so it's fine. You have pretty good speed tears, hazards, removal, etc. Yay! Honestly, quite like it aside from the type weaknesses, which would take like one free agent to make fine. So, what is your opinion about this team, guys?
Um, I
Yeah.
think if there was ever an Indian team outside of India, this would be it. Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
Oh, interesting.
shit, I broke character. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
okay,
Uh,
I mean, it's a solid team. I think it has a bit of a ghost weakness, I'd say. Definitely.
yeah, sorry,
yeah, it
And
does.
yes,
You
it's
know,
not like its Peturant is as bulky to tank a hit and strong enough to dish out a strong Shadow Ball in return.
you are right. It can.
but yeah, in the end, this team can go. It can tank a lot, like with Zamazenta, with Petrant, Landorus with Intimidate. It is mainly physical bulk, but still not something to overlook. And you do have the Ribombi, the web setter, which just makes Ogre Pawn a beast under
Yeah,
webs, so
and
it doesn't have
not
to run
to forget,
Trailblaze.
Mega Gardevoir also benefits
Yeah,
quite a bit.
exactly, exactly. Rayquaza
Although
also
I,
does
I have
shit.
to mention this, I think the lack of a second Uber is definitely hurting this team.
I think you are right. Also, one fact to
Because
note would be that the rock users, not only stealth rockers, which is like really good against this team, especially because Havane did not bring his any removal to his last match, and he kind of lost due to it. But he shouts at me instead. That what was he supposed to do? How would he have won anyway? But he should bring hazard removal because Stealth Rock is really good against his team. Also to note, most of the Mons which learn a rock type move also learn a ground type move. So your only resistance, being Zamazenta, is also kind of prone to the ground moves. So yes, I think you should get more rock resists. What are you guys' opinion?
I think you should drop the accent.
I should not. I promised him.
Either way, I mentioned the rating, by the way.
Oh, right, right. So the rating of this team is a solid 7.12 out of 10.
That is one of the highest ones. I believe it's third, right?
Yeah, definitely
For
up there.
now, I think so, yeah. Anyways, next one is me as well. So, okay, back to the original accent. Hmm. Anyways, uh, are you guys here fine? Ears? Are they bleeding right now?
No, absolutely not. That was
No, no,
beautiful.
I'm pretty good.
That was beautiful.
I'm on it. You truly are an honorary Indian. So, anyways, on to Nick. So, Nick and the Blue AGs. More really good one pointers. Cyber really have a lot of one pointers put into the draft, the good ones. Lots of ghost types get Dazzling Gleam. Ouch. Um, I think it's about Xian Pao, and yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
Chienpao, and it is Scrafty is your technically the ghost resist, even though it
Yeah,
is a one pointer,
and
it's
then
not gonna
again,
appear a lot.
Con's words, not mine. I really fucked with this though. I didn't say anything. He did. Again, super bulky and mean with lots of strong guys. Rounded Threads. I mean, something to doubt on. I would have picked Threads if I had the chance and the typing
Yeah,
up to spare.
surprisingly, Threads was not the best round 8 pick.
Okay, Loki, go ahead and spoil it.
No, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna spoil it soon enough.
I mean, the others were in round 8, but yeah, anyways. Someone with wish for the leftover 4 points would be super nice here, I think. Orino is bad, but leftover points is worse. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, if you have a wish passer, all of a sudden your Venusaur can afford to not run synthesis. And again, a really bulky core with Primarina and Venusaur and Ho-Oh, which by the way, Nick ran, I think, Scarf Ho-Oh, which got a few
Yeah.
kills. So yeah, he could be creative with this. And it also has one of the highest ratings till now, 8.23 out of 10.
Yeah, that might
It,
even be the highest, I
yeah,
think.
that is the highest
Definitely. That
actually.
is the highest.
So yeah, a really, really nice team.
Yeah.
You know,
What are your
when
guys'
we
opinion?
spoke about was it Travis or something like that? That had the bulkier mons that couldn't really do an attack.
Yeah, passive.
This
They were
one
quite
this
passive.
this one can attack. Yeah, this one definitely can attack.
Okay then, let's move forward. Loki, you're up.
All right. So next up then we have Randy, and I hope I am not butchering this name. Pokeopia Power Pals Friends. So a really colorful name indeed. And we got Randy with Reshiram, Mega Lucario, Meowscarada, Swampert, Nidoqueen, Alolan Raichu, Pincurchin to pair with it, Yuxi, Sylveon, Absol, Lycanroc Dusk, and Snorlax. So the first thing about this team is that Randy had 13 points remaining, and Con really didn't like that. But Randy is like a coach that you need a background, you need context. Like he's not really the competitive type of guy. He's here to have fun. He picks his favorites, and like every single season he picks up like a win or two, and like he's constantly improving. So like we could see potentially Randy getting playoffs really soon.
He still
But
beat
yeah,
Habane, by the way.
yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
he did.
No, that is a pretty decent thing to do. So you know, it is. Randy does know a lot about Pokemon. He does know how to use them, and like he picks the mons he likes. So those 13 points, he might spend them later on something again that he likes. Okay. So Conn said he lost to Mega Lucario last week. Bummer, strong guy. Indeed, Mega Lucario is a beast.
Yeah,
Absolute beast.
definitely.
That adaptability, amazing. Super falls off power wise after the top three. So Reshiram, Lucario, and Meowscarada, and then that's it. The next guy is a 10 pointer. Actually, the next girl that's Nidoqueen. And then you have Swampert, Sylveon, Lycanroc. Uh, that is a huge, huge drop in power. So you have two
Yeah, I
two
suppose the
Cougars.
next best thing is like in Rock Dust.
Yeah, like you do have Meowscarada, which is an amazing mon, and
I'll
then
take the honor of your praise.
nothing really. Astonishingly fairy weak, and ground types are nice eater. So there are weaknesses, and to be honest, Meowscarada is not the mon you want to switch into water type moves.
Yeah,
So
especially something like a Scald, and if you get
exactly,
burned, that's
exactly,
terrible.
it does not appreciate a skull. And then we have Pincursion isn't real. So Pincursion isn't real. Like it, Pincursion does set the terrain, but usually in these types of games, it's Tapu Koko or nothing. Pincursion. If you bring Pincursion, it's like you're bringing 5 months. It's like useless on its own. Absol isn't real. Alolan Raichu isn't real. Sorta is, but like no, because 13 points left, and you pick Alolan Raichu instead of an Ironmon from the higher tiers. Especially one Ironmon was available at a time for quite a while, but we're gonna talk about that one really soon. I'm still not spoiling it. And then as for the hazard removers, Reshiram, not the mon you want as your hazard remover.
Yeah, and that's the end of the list. I mean, only
Yeah,
default on Reshiram.
yeah, and that's it. That's
Randy
it.
did
Like
draft, sorry, did trade, I think, Absol for Murkrow. So he also has Murkrow now.
he does.
But yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
yeah, that does default with the prankster, by the way. So it is a guaranteed default unless the opponent like switches in
With the dark type.
gold and go, you know. Or does that work like that?
I think so, yeah, because it targets them on.
Yeah, but like, does the prankster moves do they
Yeah, yeah,
fail on switching?
I
yes.
think so, yeah.
Oh well, well I guess we're getting rid of those rocks with Reshiram, which means then Reshiram has to run the boots, cannot run any of its offensive items. So yeah, again, it's not like every Randy team. It's not the best team. It's not the most competitive team, but it's a fun team, and he always brings something fun to each and every battle. So yeah, uh, and it's not the worst rated team either. It's 2.15. You know, it's still higher than the Rain team. So I guess that is something.
Yeah, I
All
suppose it
right.
is. One gripe I would have with Brandy's team is that Yuxi and Sylveon are kind of serving similar purposes.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah, that I could see
kinda.
that. I could see that. But as we said, I believe those two are there because Randy likes both of them, and that's it.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, moving on. When it's time to glaze, it's time to glaze. Uh, Probably the best one right here. Probably the best one in the division. Probably the best one in the server, and it's of course the host, the man Carbine, M2 Carbine, with his liver pity. But Pheasantipity got taken, so the mascot is not there. But what he did draft is Huron White, Mega Blaziken, Galarian Slowking, Corviknight, Hisuian Samurott, Sandy Shocks, Cleaver, Iron Valiant as big fucking 8. Around 8
Seventh,
Iron
seventh,
Valiant.
seventh. Yeah,
Round 8 Iron Valiant.
seventh, seventh.
Bramblegas and Braviary. So yeah, round 8 Iron
Round
Valiant. That
seven.
says
Round seven.
he took 7 rounds of not drafting Iron Valiant, and then in the 8th round he drafted it. That is insane. That is just insane. Like, what was the rest of the league? There is 15 coaches there, and they all looked at Iron Valiant sit there unpicked, and they were like, "Nah, I don't need this." Yes, you do. Everybody needs it. Okay. Uh, those blizzards are gonna be gnarly.
I wonder if it's talking about the Curum's blizzards or blizzards against
Or
me, but
like,
sure.
but like the blizzards against you aren't that bad. You know, it's
Yeah.
Sandy Shocks, is Bramblegas and Braviary.
Yes.
Those are
Bramblegast would
not,
win right there.
Bramblegas, Braviary are on the lower side. It's not gonna happen often that you bring any of them into the battle. You know, uh, Freeze Dry on the other hand is a bit of a problem because it does get like Samurott Hisui there, but you do have Galarian Slowking, which does have that insane special defense, so it can take care of it. The speed tiers are pretty okay. There's not really that many gaps, you know. Uh, but Valiant, without Iron Valiant, it would be a really slow team with Sandy Shocks being the fastest at 101. Uh, Magic Bounce hates to see you coming. Indeed. You do have Samurott Hisui and Cleaver, both mons that set the hazards with their attacks and not just throwing them over to the other side. So, those Hatterines, those Mega Diancies, they do not like this. Uh, I would like a better spinner for the hazard stack, but that's okay. What spins here? It's Bramblegas, right? Bramblegas is a
Only
spinner.
Bramblegast, yeah.
Yeah, so you do. I would agree with Conn there. You do need a better spinner because you don't really want to defog away your own hazards. But is decent. And also, like, Bramblegas is your only ghost type against the opposing rapid spins to remove your hazards. So it could be better, but this team can already, even if the hazards get removed, it can just re re reuse them, put the pressure on again. So it's really good. Sort of knockoff week, not entirely, but like all the switches are somewhat fragile, and if the opponents have strong mons with decent coverage, you would want some bulkier mons, some mons that can take a hit on the switch in. Like right here, I do believe it's only Corviknight and maybe Slowking Galarian. The rest of them do get shipped. They do want to be more offensive, and they do want to keep their items. So yeah, that is why. Uh, but all in all, it is a really good team, and I really like it. Con gave it 6.21 rating, so I believe that's like in the top half of the teams. Like Carbine, you are here. What do you think of your own team?
I mean, I'm second in in the league, really. My position says for itself. I'm a top, I'm not a bottom.
Well said. Well said. We're making it out of the league phase with this one. We're making it to the playoffs.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
My
Absolutely.
second
Finally.
ever playoffs will be this season. Thanking God in advance for this generational run about to go on.
We expect all the wins in this draft. We don't
Yeah,
stop at
you
playoffs,
better
we
win the
stop
season.
at the victory. Exactly. Uh, we can move on if it's okay with you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I'm not gonna glaze myself.
Yeah, you got us
Hmm.
for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So let's
yes,
move on.
moving on.
We have socially accepted potato. and the mystical Moltres. Round 8 Dragapult. Can you believe that? Anyway,
That
let's
is
go over his team.
insane. That is
Mega Mewtwo Y, Dialga Origin, Tapu Lele, Sneasler, Indeedee, Heatran, Cloyster. Ooh,
king.
Loki likes that one.
Yeah,
Dragapult.
I don't like the lack of King's Rock though.
Fair enough. Cyber's fault, of course, blame him. Bellybolt, Weezing Gala, and Avalugg Hisui. So,
Again, I'd
round
like to
8
interrupt
Dragapult,
once. I'd
obviously.
like to interrupt once.
Yeah,
It's fucking round 7. Why do you all keep saying round 8?
I mean, it's round 8. I mean,
It's
that's what
not
I'm
round
seeing
8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, wait, shit.
Yeah,
Am I blind?
see, exactly.
Oh, wait, shit.
But yeah,
It's
like
10 to 12. It's 10 to 12. Okay, my bad. My bad.
Uh, uh, yeah,
uh,
get memed on now.
this is insane actually. You know,
Come on,
so
man.
15 people were there. They saw Tapu Lele in this team, and they were like, "No, I'm not gonna pick Dragapult. I'm gonna let this guy take Dragapult." And now you have Dragapult in the psychic terrain. That's not gonna get shadow sneaked on. That's not gonna get sucker punched, and that's gonna outspeed everything else. It's really
Yeah,
unreal
it's
to think.
insane. So yeah, I mean, rounded Dragapult definitely highlight of the season for Wellspring.
Yeah, insane.
Um,
I
that
mean,
is looking at his team. I definitely will admit there is a bit of a ground weakness. Although using Galar with the levitate definitely solves some of her problems, and paired with probably air balloon heat fan.
Yeah,
Uh, looking
you
at
could
the
run
offense
air
of this
balloon on
team,
Sneasler as well. You
yeah,
know, it isn't the worst item to run on it, but it does limit your options.
me when
yeah,
Excadrill.
definitely. So looking at the offense this team puts out, I mean, I would be scared. I would be scared. I mean, Psychic Terrain and Mega Mewtwo Y with Expanding Force just bulldozes a lot. I mean, you need to have a Dark type, and then, I mean, you've got Sneasler with Unburdened Sword Stance, and even Cloyster is definitely threatening on Psychic Terrain because no priority, right?
Yep,
Once it gets that
it is.
Shell Smash, it's over. And Indeedee is always nice to have, I suppose. Like another psychic terrain setter also gives you a ghost immunity, which is definitely nice to have, I suppose. And yeah, Con also mentions it. There is a ghost weakness, but definitely relying on Indeedee for that one. Although apart from that, there is definitely a ghost weakness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
don't believe there's a dark one in this team at all.
yeah, there is none.
But you know, when you take all the psychics, you do lose the weakness to sucker punch with the terrain.
Yeah, that is quite helpful in that regard. Mewtwo Ice Ice Spam is diabolical, evil, definitely. Khan says indeed feels redundant. I will have to disagree. It is definitely a good insurance just in case Lele dies, right? Also, it can healing wish, so a scarf. Expanding force is always, I mean, gonna hit hard.
Yeah, in the worst case scenario, it could just run like Specs or Scarf and just like expanding force. It doesn't
Yeah,
hit quite as well as Mewtwo, but it will deal some nice damage there.
definitely. He mentions needing another ground immunity. Definitely agree. And a speed tier between 95 and 120 to mitigate some exploitable weaknesses. Yeah, looking at team, it is apart from Mega Mewtwo Y and Sneasler and Dragapult, the team is relatively slow.
Okay. Hello.
And yeah,
Oh, okay.
so he rated it a 6.767 out of 10.
6.
Clearly meaning.
Of course.
Next up,
Con makes a 6-7 joke.
Yeah. So shall we move on?
Yeah.
All right. So we have PBL's team, the Norman Pelipers, Calyrex, Ice Rider, Tapu Koko, Iron Bundle, King Gambit, Slowking, Among Us, Thunderous Therian, Skeledurge, Flygon, and Zapdos Galar. So yeah, I would say it's quite a bulky team looking at glance, right? All these teams earlier, consoles without freeze dry switches are looking pretty scared. I would be too. Iron Bundle is quite good, especially with Tapu Koko support and electric terrain. And yeah, um, Calyrex, Ice Rider plus King Gambit, Slowking, and Among Us make, also including Skeletor, of course, makes for a great Trick Room core, I'd say. Although you definitely have to make those turns count, otherwise, you're going to lose that momentum. And Zapdos Galar and Flygon are great on the scarfing end, although I would like something better. Con says there a collection of strong Pokemon on this team. It feels like, I don't know, a bit incohesive. I can agree with that. Although Slowking gives you a bit of a pivoting option, and Flygon Zapdos giving you fast U-turns, rather, coupled with Coco's Word Switch and, of course, U-turn. I think, yeah, the momentum of this team is definitely something nice, I'd say. Although Spore Among Us in electric terrain would be something, a recipe for disaster, definitely.
I want to
And
see that being used at least once.
also I don't see a rapid spinner.
Ooh.
That is definitely something the Wellspring people have to make do on. Get a rapid spinner.
Yeah, that is true. You would need Defog on Thunderous
Yeah,
or
defog on either
Thunderous.
Thunderous or Coco. That would be definitely not ideal. Or Flygon, I think, gets defog. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are all, except like Thunderous maybe. Those are all mons that want
Do
to
not
have
want
five
one.
moves, and none of them
yeah,
is deep, and they can
and then
only have
you
four.
have to get defog in somewhere. That will be bad. Also, the hazard game is not the best. I mean, you've got like Stealth Rock, Flygon, and that's about it. I think
Yeah,
Toxic Spikes Among Us is something, I suppose.
King
No,
Gambit does set rocks. It
only
is
Gambit
like
and
a
Flygon get
viable set.
rocks.
It's not something you really want because King Gambit is also a mon that wants to run five moves.
Yeah, and when you're in Trick Room, you're not going to set rocks, you're going to attack.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Con mentions this. King Gambit also about the Ghost Resist, obviously. Con with the Ghost Resist, my god, is preventing quite a scary ghost weakness single handedly. That is definitely true. He is having a gripe about this. Where is there no 110 speed guy? The 100 to 130 jump is problematic. Definitely, I think he is losing a bit of speed there. Too fast to be Trick Room and too slow to have good speed tails. Just the right speed to let modest Dark run to the draft for fun, he writes. And yeah, I think, yeah, it's something. It's something. And the rating is 5.36 out of 10.
Okay.
What are your guys' thoughts? Like,
I mean, TBL is like the third place in the league right now, so he's definitely doing something right. Except Iron Bundle hitting its hydro pumps, of course. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, overall, I think
Yeah,
it's
like
a pretty strong team. It's more of a threatening team at a glance than in practice. But You like really don't need a lot of things to work. You just need cocoa and iron bundle, and if you land all your blizzards, ice beams, freeze dries, hydro pumps, you just win.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
I
true.
mean,
This
there
is
is definitely a difference between seeing a team on paper and fighting it in practice.
it is a team that lacks some stuff, but you can make up for it with good gameplay and the amount of sheer pressure it can put the opponent on. So like you have Coco, you have Bundle, you have Thunderous, Zapdos Galar, all of the mons that just rotate out, switch out. You never know what move they're gonna hit, and they all hit hard. And then you do have the slower mons in like King Gambit, Slowking, Among Us, Skeledirge, that can either stall out the game or like even King Gambit can close out the game. You let King Gambit set up, and it's capable of destroying the whole team with sucker punches. So if played well, this team does not need the hazards. It does not need to waste that one turn to set rocks. It can instead of that click Volt Switch or click U-turn, deal the cheap damage even more than the rocks would, and get yourself in a great position for the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely the bulk is something to be appreciated about, as well as the momentum.
One mon we didn't talk about enough, Calyrex size. It's bulky as fuck. It's a trick room sweeper, of course, and it hits like a truck.
Yeah,
Like
Definitely.
120 base power, no drawback whatsoever. And you can come totally spam it, and if you get a kill, it's even more difficult to tank it moving forward.
Yeah, it snowballs pretty hard in Trick
Yeah,
Room.
exactly. And if you do not have like a good ice resist, like if your ice resist is a fucking Vival, you're cooked.
that is true. Calorie exercise does get overlooked by its shadow counterpart, but it is rightfully on 29 points, one of the most expensive mons in the draft.
Okay then.
Indeed. Yeah, let's move on, I suppose.
So it's Bravery next, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, it's Bravery and the Knoxville Groudons. So this team is Groudon, Lugia, Raging Bolt, Chiyu, Kartana, Gengar, Araquanid, Clefable, Hitmontop, and Vanillux. Nobody drafts good ghost switches anymore. Oh, and another draft that doesn't love coming in on freeze try. Chiyu exists for both, but I mean, come on. True, Chiyu is frail as fuck. Uh, Good hazards, solid removal. Yay. One thing that we didn't see in the other teams so much.
Yeah,
Top
finally we
speed,
see Rapid Spinner.
yeah. Top speed too low. Webs help, but not enough. Specs GU is mean though. I mean, you have the sun, you have GU, you just slap on a specs, and overheat will kill resist at least 2 times
yeah.
resist.
Yeah, it is
Vanilla,
definitely
what does it
new.
even do here? Haxorus went for 1 point. So, like, yeah, to be noted. Haxorus is for. Wait, right. That makes sense. This is expensive. Anyways, so the rating for this team is 4.71 out of 10. So you see here, you see a rock weakness, which I mean, rock is a common weakness, of course, so it can
It
be
is,
ignored a
yeah.
little.
But
Ghost
this
resist,
it would be nice to have some resistance to rocks other than like Hitmontop. And
that's
Groudon
right.
does resist, but
And Cardana dies to a special sneeze, honestly. So we have to not see it as a resist. Cardana dies to heat wave by an uninvested Zapdos in Drain, which is a calc I know because I used it.
Yeah,
Anyways,
and
anyways.
definitely.
So yeah, Ghost Resist. It's really something to talk about because, like, the previous team we saw, I forgot who it was, with the Dragapult, rounded Dragapult. You can just slap on fucking choice specs, shadow work, and it's almost GG. Almost. Because, like, what's coming in on specs shadow work? Not GU. Probably Groudon can take one or two. It's bulky enough. And yeah, that's about it. Like, Chew
Yeah, I
has
think
good special defense, but its HP is terrible.
Mhm.
And the speed tiers, like 110, is like all right, but it's not too good. It's similar to what mine was. Mine was Iron Valiant highest. This does have a bit of double insurance with Gengar as well, but again, it could have a higher mon, especially since it's Ubers.
True, true.
The hazard control again is nice. Rapid spin with the Hitmontop, defog with both Lugia. Katana is not using defog, but still Lugia. And then you can set up rocks and spikes with Groudon, Sticky Web with Araquanid. Gengar
Yeah, it does
shouldn't
really.
use toxic spikes, even if it gets it. Again, webs help, but like the lower tier mons, not these, but these, can
What is scary though is Chiyu and Kartana in Sun. Kartana with the Solar Blade
right.
now
Yeah,
could
that
be a
is
s-
definitely something nice.
all in all. I would say it's a decent team. It does lack some stuff, but it does put an insane amount of offensive pressure, and you do have the Raging Ball to close out games. Also abuse the Sun a little bit with photosynthesis. You know, once the ground type is gone, Raging Ball just goes ham.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Also, something to look forward to is how he utilizes Lugia. Definitely, like a defensive role is obviously expected, but he can use it for speed control as well. And yeah, it's a solid team. Although I definitely don't like how Vanillux is 3 points and now Haxorus is 1 point.
Yeah, again, blame Cyber.
Yeah,
So then, moving forward to the next team, we have Fog and Cheesy Dinos. So his team is Mewtwo, Kyurem Black, Gliscor, Toxapex, Annihilate, Cyclizar, Celesteela, Delmise, Audino Mega, Magmar, and Round 11 Dark.
The Wellspring sure was something this season.
So, um, moving to the ratings, Round 11 Darkrai, even in Ubers, Round 11. Randy is gonna catch some shade. Randy, you had 13 points left, and people were drafting Round 11 Darkrai. Fog got a real round 1 pick, Mewtwo. Proud. Too reliant on Gliscor for hazards, in my opinion. It can do more than that if you had another reliable set. So, I mean, not to be blamed myself, but I kind of took two of the better hazard setting mons, and I can barely fit one in my team at all times. So, you can blame me, I guess. Big speed jump from Cube to Cyclizar, unfortunate. Also from Annihilate to Celesteela, again, unfortunate. So, Kyurem and okay, he fucking wrote Cube instead of Kyurem. Blame Conn. Cyclizar and Kyurem does have a really large gap, so anything like my Valiant could perhaps run Scarf. I already ran Scarf 2 times. Scarf Modest if I want to, because even if it gets knocked off, I am still faster than Kyurem. And then again, after Annihilate to Celesteela, there's a big ass gap. So anything like Rotom doesn't really need to invest first of all, even if it wants to be like a faster mon or Terrapagos. it can just speed creep to be faster than Mewtwo after one rock polish, and it's fine then. So yeah, speed is a bit of an issue because there's potholes in the speed tiers. Uh, then Team Force to Aerodactyl, bit rock and flying weakness, even if there's a few resistance checks. Uh, I fucked with a lot of pieces, not literally, figuratively. And again, Con said it, not me. But imagine if Delmise and Magmar were Pokemon that were useful instead. Fair enough. Freeze dry again, but the raw bulk on some of these Pokemon mitigates it. Team really benefits from Audino though. Good pickup for a point. So what's y'all's opinion on the team overall?
I do believe Con was a bit too critical. Like, what is
Yeah,
Aerodactyl
no,
doing
I think
against
I'll agree with them
or
on that.
against Celesteela? It does.
He just fucking picked
I
them
think
on.
it
That was
is
rock and
some
flying.
pretty. Yeah, but I think it's some pretty decent checks to flying and rock. And you could. Liscor can tank really well. Celesteela as well. Toxapex can tank really well. They don't just instantly die. Mewtwo does not die to any of those instantly. The
Yeah,
This
and
speed
you've
Smash
got
Mania would
are
be one to
indeed
watch for.
giant. It makes it really easy to prep in speed. You can just ignore the speed altogether on some mons and run bulk. But in the end, it does have a decent defensive core. Annihilate that can get really out of hand if it's allowed to set up and if it's allowed to charge the Rage Fist. And Cure and Black with the ability to sweep. Mewtwo, of course, the OG legendary, and to this day one of the strongest ones. You do have a lot of great options here, and yeah, you can't forget Darkrai. Darkrai just clicks the modest Dark Pulse, as he said on one of the other teams.
Right then.
yeah, on
So
TBL's team.
moving forward.
All right. Next up, we have my boy MGD with the Please MGD Don't Be So Lazy team. So the naming, his team names, really consistent throughout the seasons with stuff like that.
I think it has something to do with the amount of time he takes between turns.
Uh, I do believe so, but I don't think that's laziness. I think that's just the like literally uh the other thing. He just thinks too much. Anyways, his team is Zekrom, Dawnwings Necrozma, Torkoal, Walking Wake, Great Tusk, Venusaur, Bisharp, Hatterene, Charizard, Arboliva, Suicune, and Darksbun. So the first thing of all, it's a really slow team. You do have Walking Wake, which is a fast one, but even Walking Wake is like 119, right? I think it's 119.
109.
109, yeah, even worse, and that's the fastest one. Then you have Charizard, which is like not a really great mon. It's on 100, and everything else is lower. Like you could shift your great tusk to get the photosynthesis in speed, but you do have to sack a lot of EVs on attack and defense for that. So it's not really
Yeah,
the best thing to do.
and the team is
It does
definitely
get
relying on chlorophyll Venusaur for speed control.
Yeah, yeah, and like Venusaur, it is a great mon, but it is a bit power crept at this point in time. Um, so Great Tusk is a really good rapid spinner, so it can get some speed there. But again, it's not the best. It's not the best team in terms of speed. It's really not. Uh, Why is Arboliva here? I think it was like the just a just a pick to get the maybe ghost resist so Necrozma
Yeah,
doesn't.
ghost immunity plus
Right.
harvest, I suppose.
Yeah, Bishop does take care of the ghost immunity pretty well, but your Arboliva is here, and Arboliva can like heal your mons a bit with the terrain. So it just seems like a Sun team with some additional legend stacks like Zekrom and Necrozma, and there is not really that much cohesion between the two sides. So yeah, there is room for improvement there. Suicune and Sun also makes him ponder. Like I do see Suicune with like Toxic, with like Scald, stuff like that, maybe run in game, and it can still be pretty decent even in Sun. It doesn't have to deal that damage with the water attacks. Scald is pretty decent even in Sun if it can burn. You know, there's great spinners. As I said, it's great Tusk, insane. You do have the Hatterene as well, so it would be nice to have spikes. Yeah, looking at this team, you could
Yep,
really
it
use
only
some
has
more
to.
hazards.
Yeah.
Like your spikes right now is Hatterene bouncing them back. And like when you know Hatterene is coming, you're gonna prepare for it. You're not gonna just blindly click spikes because it might come in, bounce them back to your side. So
And
this
and
team is
I don't
not
even
gonna
need to
have.
think. I don't even need to
Yeah.
think because I have Hamrod.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the worst team by any standard. It's a decent team, but there is room for improvement. So the rating for this one is 4.82 out of 10. What do you guys think? What do you think of this?
I just think that Zekrom and Necrozma Dawn Wings get stealth rocks, which I never would have imagined without seeing it here. The speed tiers are nice, but like honestly, if you say that, because like you say that it's slow team. Like on paper it is, but every week you're using sun, and you have mons with chlorophyll and photosynthesis. So it's more like pseudo slow because on paper it is slow, but then again, most likely you are using your photosynthesis and your chlorophyll here. So like
Yeah, you are,
just
but the
watch
photosynthesis
this.
mon has to run all of its EVs in speed just so it can make up for the huge difference it has between speed and attack.
I
So
mean,
the chlorophyll
I
does
think
boost the
I
speed.
used walking bake, and it's like you have to spare like 40 EVs or something, which is, I mean, acceptable. You can slap on a fucking choice specs to make up for that, and you get both boost of scarf and specs by only one item because of its ability. And walking bake in the sun can do massive damage.
It can. It is really good. But yeah, for this team specifically, I would like the Ubers to work in the sun a bit better. Like the Ubers, Zekrom could potentially win games on its own. And
Right.
Dawnwing and Rosma, not really that much used, but could get pretty overlooked. It does have a 4 times weakness to Ghost and Dark, and even with Prism Armor, it does not appreciate that. But Bisharp takes care of that really well.
I mean, especially in a
Great Tusk.
metagame where pursuit is legal, it's kind of just a setting that I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, that is true. That is true. But as for the other ones, Bisharp takes them. Great Tusk can take dark moves pretty well. So there is options.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
a pretty interesting team, definitely.
yeah. All right. So moving on, we have Orange and Washington Whoopers. So Orange drafted Fluttermane, Deoxys Attack, Mecha Charizard Y, Melmetal, Cerulege, Smeargle, Blacephalon, Azelf, Screamtail, Metagross, Hisuian Electrode, and Chansey. So right off the bat, you have Deoxys, you have Cerulege, you have Blacephalon, you have Azelf, you have Metagross. Insane dark weakness. Really insane dark weakness. And though then all of those mons are weak to ghost moves,
Yes,
and
seven
so are
months.
Flutter Mane and Screamtail. So insane dark weakness and insane ghost weakness. But for the ghost one, you do have Chansey that's gonna just absorb them. They're gonna pass right through it. So it is somewhat alright, but it's still insane. Like if Chansey isn't there, Poltergeist just takes care of the whole team, basically. Uh Not the bulkiest bunch as well. Deoxys attack just dies to any attack. Melmetal can take some hits. The rest of them, not really. Blacephalon, Azelf, not the bulkiest mons. Screamtail can do stuff. Metagross can take a hit. And of course, Chansey is the special defense wall, but it is all a bit situational. And with all the shared weaknesses, it's really, really exploitable. Like, you don't have to think about the bulk that much. Not to mention, Mega Charizard just sets the sun, so the opponent can melt metal with powered up fire attacks. Uh, I guess Orange is not about that life. He just puts them all. Lots of exploders though.
That's his
Misty
whole idea.
exploders too. Misty exploders too. So yeah, you have Azelf, you have Metagross, I guess Screamtail,
And
Electrode,
anyone watching this can
Blacephalon.
see the screen, and my screen says a lot right now.
Yeah,
It's,
so it is it is an explosive team to be sure. You know, uh, regardless,
wait,
you have
wait,
Fluttermane, which is one of the
wait,
best Paradox mons.
wait.
What?
Okay, continue.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. You have Fluttermane, which is one of the best Paradox mons, and then you have Mega Charizard Y to give it a photosynthesis boost. So it doesn't have to run booster energy, it can run whatever it fucking wants. And that's insane. It's gonna outspeed almost everything. It's gonna hit almost everything. And it can just sweep a team. It can just sweep a whole team. As long as it's not hit by a by a priority physical move. Um, but then for every good thing there's a bad thing. And that is there is no hazard removal here except for Smeargle. And Smeargle is a mon with 250 base stat total. So basically a mon that's just gonna do some shenanigans there, and that's it.
it's there to die.
Is there to die, maybe set like webs, maybe do the sport thingy. In this team, is gonna come in, it's gonna rapid spin or defog, and it's gonna die. And that's it. Uh the other defogger is Charizard, Mega Charizard Y. But the problem is for Mega Charizard Y to come and get rid of the rocks, it has to take half of its HP because it has to run the Mega Stone. It cannot run the boots. It has to come in, take all the rocks damage, which is 50%, and then it has to defog it. Like, if it even gets to defog it. 100 speed is a pretty good speed tier, but there are faster mons. But yeah, speaking of speed, this is absolutely the fastest team in the league. You have Deoxys, you have Electrode on 150, then you have Fluttermane on 135. So really, this team is gonna outspeed everything, but it's also gonna die to everything. So many weaknesses. Uh, it's a 3 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10. He does not know how to rate this. It's sort of terrible, but evil enough that it's kind of scary. You do not know what to expect here. You can expect a sweep. Like Deoxys does have both attacks on 180, so it does die to any single attack ever, but it does kill everything ever basically. You know, and with the hope that someday Orange will draft a real fucking team, I close my state here, and so does Con.
Okay,
What do you guys think?
I think seeing these two rows of dark and ghost weakness definitely wants to make me run Scarf, Hammerot against him, and Scarf Cleaver as well, just to have a field day. But
Yeah, his team definitely relies a lot upon Smeargle for webs, and speed control is going to be crucial, I will say.
yeah, because you would say fastest mons are Deoxys Attack and Electrode Hisui, but do not forget Photosynthesis Fluttermane as well, which would hit very hard if your opponent doesn't kill you first with
That is
priority,
true, yeah.
because it's,
Fluttermane is a
again,
really scary mon.
talking about the walls of the team, like you see the maximum, and then like physical defensive wall is Melmetal, and the especially defensive wall is, I don't know, not Fluttermane, but I guess
Probably
it's
Chansey.
Metagross.
I would say
Yeah,
Chansey.
Chansey, right.
Yeah,
And
and there's
but
Cream Tail for
the
blanket checking anything.
the thing is, both of them get targeted by the other thing really highly, like really badly, because Chansey cannot take a physical attack really well.
Yeah,
It has a monstrous HP, so, and with Eviolite it can like take a good chunk, but it isn't really coming in on knockoffs at all. And after a knockoff, you're just cooked. If it had like Regenerator, maybe it was one thing, but it cannot keep coming in. And any mon that can run like Naive Nature or something and afford to run one physical attack can really hinder Chansey as well. The
yeah, I
average
agree there.
defenses are really low on this team, both average and median.
Yeah, that is true. That is especially the physical defense on
Yeah,
70. But there is Smeagol and Chansey there. It's not that terrible. And the Oxys attack, of course, not doing it any favors. But it's not. This is not a team that takes physical hits well.
yeah,
Especially like Metagross and Melmetal can take them really well, but both are Steel type. Both are weak to the same things, and it's not. I don't think it's gonna work. But the sheer amount of damage this team can do instantly is a bit worrying for the opponent.
right.
All right,
So
moving on
you
to
just don't
the.
have to give this team momentum at all. If you give this team momentum, it will get you.
Yeah, that's true. Moving on to the last coach. It's Zygarde FGC and his team Utah Ursaring. And Zygarde, of course, drafted Zygarde in his complete form, paired with Magirna, Urshifu Single Strike, Terrapagos Terrasol, Wellspring Ogerpon, the mascot of the league, of the division, Rotom Heat, Cresselia, Overquill, Florges, Galarian Corsola, and Archeops. So yeah, as I said, a Zygarde for Zygarde, very, very fitting. But then again, we have a bad top speed. Archeops at 110. And Archeops is not really the best mon. It's a one pointer. It's not something you want to be bringing to Uber's draft league all the time. Other than that, the next one is Urshifu, which is below 100. And that is a bit of a problem.
Ogopon as well. 110.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you missed Ogopon.
Yeah, Ogrepon. Okay, Ogrepon does get a decent speed.
Yeah,
And above that, there's nothing. And there isn't a single 100 pointer for the speed. And that is quite tricky in the drafts. Uh, on the other hand, it does have some pretty great hazard control. Like Terrapagos, possibly the best rapid spinner in the tier. It is amazing. You know, uh, what else is there? You do have Overquill that can set up hazards. You do have Rotom heat that and defog them.
Yeah, Florges and Archeops too, but realistically, you're not using Archeops.
Yeah, but it is some pretty great stuff. And of course, Zygarde and Magearna are pretty great. Magearna is so versatile, and Zygarde can turn into a real problem really quickly. So yeah, solid resistance profile. There's not really anything this team is weak to. It does have it does have like a -1 diff on the fairy and ice type, but that's because of the double weakness for like Urshifu for fairies and Zygarde for ice types. And like those mons wouldn't really appreciate them even if it wasn't at the 4 times weakness. So uh apart from the speed, everything else is there. The hazards are there, the momentum is there, the offense, the defense, everything is there. This team can do anything it wants. It is so versatile. It has such amazing mons. The only thing it lacks is speed. Like even if it just had webs, it would be a bit better because Urshifu likes the webs really much, and so does Ogerpon. But yeah, like this, it might struggle to get some priority, some first moves, and it might have to trade its incredible potential for receiving some damage. So it does have some slightly passive Pokemon in Cresselia and Florges, stuff like that. But the top five being Zygarde, Magearna, Urshifu, Terrapagos, and Wellspring, they pretty much make up for it. They put enough pressure so you can ignore the other mons being passive. So your main core of every team you bring to the 20 game is gonna be some of those five, and then you do have room for some mons that can take it easy. They can drop back, maybe stall a bit, uh, just support the big guys from behind. Uh, all in all, it is a really great team, and it did get one of the highest ratings in 7.77. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, so definitely I would agree with your point that is the team needs webs. I mean, with webs, it just looks so much better. So I'd basically drop Archeops and get like a web setter.
Also, one thing to note, which I pointed out once, Cresselia and Florges, like the Mesprit angle, kind of do similar roles in this team. Uh, like Cresselia can even like healing wish and stuff. So dropping one of them could be useful as well, because like you're not bringing both, and you can do what you're going to do with Florges with Cresselia as well, or the other way around. So I think dropping one of these for a good web setter like probably Rebombi, if it's there, could work well in this team's favor. Also for the speed tier.
Yeah, that is true. Ribombi is taken though,
Oh man.
but honestly, there is a lot of web setters. Like something like speed ups for 1 point. Speed ups can do stuff. I think it gets
Yeah, I
knockoff.
definitely can. And also, I believe there's Livani in there, right?
Yeah,
1 point.
Libani as well. It sets webs. It knocks off something, and like uh in the Sun
Relatively
teams
faster
because
as well. So,
we do have 2 or 3 Sun teams. It can come in as chlorophyll, just set up one Swords Dance and deal some decent damage in the Sun. So like Livani is a really underrated mon in my opinion.
I used it
It's
last
not
draft. It's really good.
yeah, it's not like a great mon by any means, but it does get the job done. And if you have like Corsola, Galarian, and Archeops for your 1 pointers, why not get a web setter there to complement? Because you're not gonna be using much of Corsola and Archeops. but you could be using a lot of your web setters in this team to at least somewhat make up for the lack of speed it has. But all in all, it is a really really solid team. As I said, it does anything it wants. It can attack, it can defend, it gets the momentum, it gets everything. Hazards. Anyways, I think that will be it. I think we covered all of them.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, that will be it for the PRs of the Wellspring division. I hope you guys enjoyed and found out your team's strengths and weaknesses and can make transactions accordingly. So, yeah.
If you guys have any complaints or think we think wrong things were said about your team, remember it's not us, it's Con. So everything
Yeah,
goes to
blame
him.
Con.
Blame him for everything.
And
Like
for the
we
draft
are
board,
just
blame Cyber.
messengers. Yeah, for the draft or blame Cyber. There is no way Haxorus with that attack is just a one pointer. Like it can damage every single Volunteer. But I'm rambling. If you liked what was said about your team, that's because of the three of us. Realistically, that's because of the three of us.
The
But like
Indian
if you
group.
don't like it, then it's just gone. It's just gone.
It's just Con.
The Indian group
But
strikes
in all
again.
seriousness, though, massive thanks to Con for doing this. Like it is quite a bit of work to go over 16 teams of like 10 plus months and rate them all, do all the ratings, consider all the things, and yeah, big respect to him.
So, anyways, that's gonna be it. Thank you from our side as well. We really enjoyed this experience. The Indian group. Loki, you know what to do?
Hello.
Right. So,
I don't
see
know.
you
I
guys
lost
later
the
then. Goodbye.
goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.